I no go wrong, my baby, up to date, up to date. She no need no validation. Now every day she dey upgrade. She no get no expiration. I want more, 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 more. Boy, I give me more, 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 more. I want more, 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 more. Boy, I give me more, 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 more. Got me feeling like Oliver Twist, Oliver Twist. Got me feeling like Oliver Twist, Oliver Twist. She got me feeling like Oliver Twist, Oliver Twist.
What's up, guys? I am almost ready. Apologies for being so late today, but if you bear with me, I hope that today's lesson will be worth the wait. So, have a couple more, hopefully seconds of listening to Oliver Twist 2, the remix by Scales, some Afro beats for you guys on this lovely Friday. Just give me a couple more seconds and I'll hop back in here with you guys, all right?
She don't fall in love. She don't really go house. She don't push up. I no go fuck. I no go walk. I stay on diet. Man no go chop. If we cross path, the more like a this. Every day you go reminisce. Go turn you to Oliver Twist. Oliver Twist. Oliver Twist. Oliver Twist. Got me feeling like Oliver Twist. Oliver Twist. She got me feeling like Oliver Twist. Oliver Twist. She got me feeling like Oliver Twist. Oliver Twist. Oliver Twist. Your body got me feeling like Oliver Twist.
longer than I had originally anticipated. So I appreciate your patience. If you're still listening, we got some Thundercat brewing in the background. So more on that to come when I release next month's playlist. I'm going to pause that. How's everybody doing? Well, I hope better than me. I'm late, obviously, which is both a good thing and a bad thing. I think it's a good thing because I feel comfortable enough with you guys that I'm able to run a couple minutes behind and know that you guys are smart enough to know that I wouldn't be late without a very good reason, or at least my thoughts on what a good reason is, and also that you guys will understand. Hopefully I'm giving you guys just the benefit of the doubt, but that hopefully today's lesson will be so valuable for you that it makes up for the lateness. And also, something to also consider is that if you are watching this on replay, you don't even know that I'm late. I am letting you know that I'm late because that is something that I'm actively working on as a founder. So if you are watching the live version of this video, you are a member of the Mako Side Hustle Startup School Facebook community, which is a mouthful, I get it. But we are a community of entrepreneurs, of builders, and founders. And so if you are watching this live training as part of our weekly gatherings, you know that we are a group of people who are committed to getting better, to improving, to maximizing our potential, really, finding our purpose as an opportunity to be the best versions of ourselves. And so we have weekly trainings, and I'm excited here in 2020 to begin offering networking sessions and workshops and some really cool things, as an opportunity for us to do an even better job of becoming the best versions of ourselves. That was a lot. How you guys doing? Well, good. All right, let's hop into this today, guys. For the month of February, actually, this is a perfect case study. I'm being a living case study for you guys, right? As part of my content marketing strategy for 2020, I've committed to going live at least 3 days a week on social media platforms, and I've also committed to spending a lot of time in this community, this Facebook community specifically. Working with entrepreneurs, working with other startup founders. If you guys are familiar with Nipsey Hussle, or if you're unfamiliar with Nipsey Hussle, I should say, he is a musician, entertainer that was born and raised, I believe born, but definitely raised in Los Angeles. Unfortunately, last year he was murdered, and his death, as untimely and as unfortunate as it was I think a call or a beacon to a lot of people, in terms of some ways to, I guess, capitalize on the impact of his music in order to improve the communities around themselves. And what I mean by that is Nipsey Hussle, outside of just being this guy that had this really compelling story, he was highly invested in the improvement of our local communities, specifically, people from disenfranchised groups. He was interested in them, taking power, and specifically through business and entrepreneurship, through creativity, as a way of controlling the narrative and taking a little bit more control of the economic factors that are so important to so many of us, right? And so I'm working on my guys. So if you hear me using these crutch words, call me out. You got to roast me for it, because public speaking is something that I want to get better on this year, and I need you guys to help keep me more accountable in these live videos. That being said, part of my mission here in 2020, as a result of being inspired by Nipsey Hussle, is by contributing to this community of entrepreneurs that are from less than represented groups, I should say. Entrepreneurs are from all walks, all areas of life, but really for me, it really is important to capitalize on some of the audience members that were also impacted by Nipsey's death, right? And a lot of those members are members of underrepresented communities. And so, my commitment here in 2020 is I want to impact 1,000 people who are also impacted by the death of Nipsey Hussle. Let's work together. Let's figure out some ways. I want to work with at least 1,000 people this year. As a result of you know, becoming the best versions of ourselves, figuring out what our purpose is, and getting businesses out there, that can truly impact communities. And so we have 78 group members in this group, which I think is super special. I appreciate all of you guys. Go ahead and take a second, drink all that in, and just go ahead and pat yourself on the back, right? Like, you guys should be proud of being members of this community, in my opinion. Because personally, my standards are pretty high, right? And what I mean by that is it's super important for me to keep this community specifically, very clean. I don't want spam. I don't want people who aren't interested in being the best versions of themselves. I don't want people that, aren't serious or aren't willing to go the grind in this group. And I have identified you in one way or another through, our conversations, following you on social media, whatever it is, whatever our connection is, we see something similar, right? I think that we've got some sort of like similar vision. And, I want to, be a part of your world. I want to include you in my world. And this community is, one of the ways that I do that. So by the end of the year, I want an additional 922. I think my math is right. Like 922 people in here, so that we can all just use this community, use each other as opportunities to, continue to spread Nipsey's message, and to also find out what our purpose is. Because once we know our purpose, damn, like, all sorts of crazy stuff can happen, right? Once you know your purpose, you know why you're waking up every morning. You know why you're doing it all. You know what your 30-year vision is. You know how you're making money. You know how you're gonna retire on that. Well, at least my vision is, I'm planning on retiring on an island. I'm gonna open up T's Pina Colada and Fish Taco Bar. That's going to be, a couple months out of the year. The other couple months out of the year, definitely going to be traveling. I want to spend some time. I want to start. I want to do some sustainable work in the oceans. I've got all these great and brilliant ideas, and because I know that that's where I'm going, it makes a lot of the decisions and the choices that I make as a founder easier, a whole lot easier. And I want that same type of clarity and understanding for you guys, right? And I think that Nipsey was somebody that had that similar type of clarity and understanding. Not to say that I'm Nipsey Hussle. I'm uniquely me, just like you guys are uniquely you. I think the biggest thing is that there are so many of us walking around, kind of like zombies, and not really understanding, what our circumstances are, what we're doing it for. We're just kind of going through the motions. And, if that's you, totally cool, no worries, right? But if you're someone that has a little bit of a deeper craving, a little bit of a deeper desire for, more meaningful connections, for being challenged, for getting scuffed up and scruffed up and beat up a little bit, well, this is why we're connecting. And then I want that type of, I just like those types of relationships, and I hope that you do too, right? So I want to celebrate all 78 of you for being in this community today. And we're gonna figure out a way. We still have can you guys believe it? We're wrapping up the second month of the year. Can you take a second and just take a deep breath? Q1 is rapidly coming to an end. We're about to be 3 months into the year. And I don't know about you, but it felt like yesterday where I was sleeping through New Year's. So, yeah, I hope that you guys have been achieving some business success this year. Our theme word as a community of founders is enduring. And the idea is we want to come together in order to create our legacy brands, our brands that last far longer than we could ever last, right? And so as a result of that, the content that we're bringing or that's coming to you throughout 2020 is all around building an enduring brand, right? Figuring out the things that you need to do in order to endure, right? Because it's not always going to be easy. And, the good brands, the brands that are really able to, figure it out and reinvent themselves and come back each time with a new and better way to serve their customers and their audience, well, they're really just dialed in into, that process of figuring out what it takes to endure. And so during the month of January, we explored laying a foundation, right? And that foundation is really focused on understanding your brand vision, your 30-year vision, your mission, your values, all that good stuff, right? It's understanding your principles. It's understanding who you are, you yourself as a founder, as well as the persona or the character that you're looking to convey for your brand. Because the thing is that once you know what your principles are, once you know what you stand for, whether it's integrity, whether it's courage, whether it's intelligence, whether it's, whatever it is, right? Whatever abstract thing you can think of, well, then you're able to, your choices, your decisions are easier because, again, you see how this comes full circle? You know where you're going, right? So you just need to make the choices that are going to get you closer to where you want to go or further away from where you don't want to go. So in January, we focused on, really understanding what our core was or who we are as a core. But the thing is that knowing yourself is not enough, right? You have to know who you're serving and you also have to know who's going to help you get there, right? Because we know that we can't do it by ourselves, right? And so that's why as, a community, we came together during the month of February to really focus in, to really dial in on what it takes in order to create a founding team or to identify the teammates that are really going to be able to help us get to climb that mountain, right? Because we're climbing a mountain, we don't ever want to climb it by ourselves. And so we've done some really great stuff. We had a case study with Jayla of On My Own Financial. We've got some additional content that's coming out. There are some networking opportunities. We dove a little bit more into our purpose, right, by exploring the 3 P's of purpose-driven entrepreneurship. So, now that we're wrapping up February, it's we're rapidly, obviously, entering into March, and so before we head into our next month theme, right, we want to figure out a way to just really end the month strong, right? So outside of like the very high level stuff that I was giving to you guys, regarding ideal customer profiles and understanding your purpose, doing some of those exercises in order to really convey what your team needs are. I wanted to get a little bit more practical in order to dive into what I believe are some practical things that you can do. I've got about 6 practical things that you can do in order to have a kick-ass recruiting strategy on platforms like Instagram, LinkedIn, Angel Co, Facebook, wherever it is that you're using your platform of choice in order to go out and start actually recruiting those people that have the same 30-year or 60-year vision that you do, right? And so before we hop in, I do just want to quickly announce our March theme, right? So March is Women's History Month, and so again, we're focused on creating an enduring brand. So again, in January we focused on understanding our mission and our principles and our 30-year vision, understanding our purpose. During the month of February, we explored what it took to recruit a kick-ass founding team. And during the month of March, what we're focused on is planting the seeds of that legacy business, right? So now that we know who we are, now that we know, who we're walking with, it's time to, start putting our great brains together and, diving in, right? And so what that means is if we want to plant a seed, we have to start, we have to start tilling the ground a little bit. We have to start making sure that the ground is ready for us to plant those seeds for these businesses that can last for 30 years or longer, right? And I want to quickly shout out my friend Troy Havens, who has been extremely paramount, in terms of helping me with some of these high-level concepts that we're going to be working through over the course of the month of March, right? But again, it's really focused on through some of the conversations that Troy and I have had, we were really just kind of able to figure out like the core philosophies, the really simple, easy philosophies that you can take and rapidly implement into your business in order to create like something really healthy from the ground up, right? And so there's this tree concept that we're going to be going working through during the month of March, right? But the idea is that we're focused on research, our market research, and really creating the three foundational branches of your business, which we will again discuss. The great thing about it being Women's History Month is that we'll use some case studies from kick-ass women that are making some money and making some noise in the startup space, right? So shout out to people from again disenfranchised groups that haven't typically had much of a voice, because when you're so used to getting your ass kicked, when you get a chance, I mean, you appreciate that chance, right? And you really want to knock it out of the park. And so, I think women are especially indicative of this, right? So again, just planting the seed right here. We are focused on, market research, and really laying the foundations of the three core business divisions that you're going to want to focus on, at the outset of launching your enduring business. All right. So, again, guys, I can't. I want to apologize for being late today, but again, that's why we are recruiting. Imperfect. I'm perfectly imperfect, or imperfectly perfect, whatever it is you want to say it. I'm just like you guys. I've got I've got some strengths and some things that I kick ass at, and I've got some things that I'm terrible at, right? And so, as part of that, our job as founders is to maintain the vision of our company, and it is to recruit and empower the people in order to go and facilitate that, right? So typically, if I'm taking on too many projects, that's my first indication I need to start delegating and giving things to other people so that I don't have to focus on. There's some strategies that you can do, in order to make the process a little bit easier, which we are gonna kind of talk about today, right? Which is recruiting. But the first thing that I will tell you is that if you don't have time to recruit, and this is my first piece of advice, it's free game that's not included in my top 6, which is going to be turned into a YouTube video and then eventually a blog post, and maybe a workshop one day if it turns out to be kick-ass. My first piece of free game right now is get yourself a filter, right? And what I mean by that is, if you find yourself to be a solopreneur, you're doing everything on your own, no one's helping you with nothing, it's all you, it's all on your shoulders. Grab a friend that is good at something that you are not good in, and schedule a monthly call to talk about that aspect of your business that you're not good in. That's the easiest thing that you can do right now, right? If you're not ready to go and hire somebody and spend time on any of these platforms recruiting people, just schedule a monthly call for, let's say, for 1 month. I typically like to do 90 days at a time, so maybe get some real data, get some pain or some data points in there in order to figure out if this is valuable to you. But schedule a call with your numbers guy, or your marketing person, or your product girl, or whatever it is, right? Your design thinker. Like whatever that is, schedule a monthly call for 30 minutes to talk about the different design things that you're working on, the different product things or marketing or whatever it is, and allow them to, you submit to them, right? I want you to be defiant in terms of explaining what your strategy is, but then I want you to be compliant once they tell you what to go do. And that's all you have to go do, right? You're not ready to hire yet. You're just having conversations with the people that are smarter than you. And then once you have had enough of those conversations where people are, that there are a ton of people smarter than you, then you are ready to go out and recruit. And that is our conversation today, guys. So before we hop in, it's Flex Friday in our community. Flex Friday is our opportunity to shout out our crew members. Yay! It's our opportunity to pat ourselves on the back for doing good work. I want to shout out a couple of our group members. Dominic is kicking ass with his podcast. He just had a live stream and I think it was a live stream and a YouTube video, if memory serves me correct. But I know it's definitely going to be a podcast that you can check out on his podcast, Soul Matters. But this is with a actress who is on The Walking Dead. Her name is escaping me right now, but Dominic, I want to shout you out. I'm definitely going to check out the podcast, or excuse me, the episode, and I'm going to share it here in the community. If we can, maybe we can do like a watch party so we can all do it together. But I want to shout you out, bro. You're doing good stuff. If you need any sort of like video production help, whatever that is, hit up Dominic in the group. He is your guy for that. But let's go ahead and give him a round of applause. I want to also shout out Daniel Ordonez, who is one of my besties, one of my boys. Daniel has this amazing brand called Saints. Saints is both a lifestyle brand and a men's salon located in the Palms area of LA. He's also got this dope fashion studio. Fashion studio, I guess, is that the way you call it? A boutique. Boutique is probably a better word, and offers a really exclusive lines of like men's clothes. Like, I mean, you want to talk about fashion game, men's fashion. This dude, his guys, like, they're basically running shit in LA. So definitely, I'll see if I can drop a comment with the address, and I'll tag Daniel if you're interested in his new line of jackets. But they've got this really amazing campaign that's that has been going on Facebook and on Instagram. So definitely shout him out, check him out, check out the shop, and support him if you can. Last but not least, let's give a shout out to Tatiana. Tatiana is kicking ass right now. What can I say? She's juggling a million different things. But the thing that I've been most impressed about is how she has recruited a team to completely take away events for her and her brand, Road to Artdom. So she's got this asset, right, which is an art studio that she has to pay monthly rent on. And she uses it when she needs to, but typically she's out working with clients, and when she needs to go and create, she can do that. But for all intents and purposes, like, this studio is available. So her being the smart businesswoman that she is, what does she do? She recruits a partner who sees that space and sees a golden opportunity. And so what they have been doing is, just recruiting a bunch of speakers to host in-person events, workshops, all sorts of different series that are, totally in line with Road to Artdom's vision and purpose and, long-term mission, but also as an opportunity to facilitate new and different conversations, share audiences, grow each other's social media profile, all this good stuff. So Tatiana's kicking ass. If you're interested in checking out the Road to Artdom event series, my recommendation is you head over to Road to Artdom Facebook, check in with her, and just hop over to the events tab and see what they've got going on. They've got a ton of stuff scheduled, right? All right, dudes. The last two announcements that I have for you, I will save for the end of our call. You guys have bared with me for too long. Let's go ahead and hop in the conversation today. All right. So if you see the homepage that is on your screen behind me, that is angel.co. And angel.co is a very famous or very popular social media platform or recruiting platform, however it is that you want to look at it, startup platform for small businesses. And what I mean by that is that if you are a startup or a startup founder and you're interested in finding or meeting other like-minded people that are interested in business and startups, whatever it is, well, this is the website for you. They've got a bunch of tools available in order to help you facilitate and develop your startup network, your startup, your job search, your looking for opportunities to fundraise, like whatever it is, right? They've got a whole suite of tools designed to help you and your startup. And Angel Co is also a really fantastic recruiting tool for you if you are interested in looking for people to join your company, which is what we're talking about today, right? Our focus is on recruiting people in order to, help create or execute against the long-term vision that you and your founding team have, worked so hard to, or have joined together in order to, to go create and to build, right? And so angel.co is a fantastic opportunity for you to go ahead and do just that. Now, I want to go ahead and, guys, I'm not an expert. I'm not a recruiting person. A lot of my experience comes as a result of trial and error. And what I mean by that is, I tell you guys all the time, I built this community as a result of failing. And what I mean by that is my startup food tribe was my original vision. That's what I wanted to go and build. And what I realized along the way is that I didn't really have the skill set. There's just some things I need to get better at if I wanted to build the type of company that I wanted to build, right? And that being said, it took a whole lot of pain in order for me to realize that I wasn't quite there yet. And so as a result of that pain came a ton of experience. And so Angel Co is one of the platforms that I have used in order to recruit and hire for Food Tribe. And I've worked with consultants, I've worked with interns, I've worked with mentors, I've worked with investors, I've worked with all sorts of people who in one way or another have been instrumental in terms of giving you at least the tips that I can offer if you are at that place that you are interested in recruiting. And you know what? If my experience isn't valuable to you, or you're not able to find any similarities, like no skin off my knuckles, I'm not tripping. I just figure that I typically learn best from like stories and from other people's experiences. But again, like I'm not an HR person. I've spoken to a lot of people that work in HR, and I've tried to be an HR person, and I've learned a lot of stuff along the way. And so hopefully you are able to use this some of the lessons that we're going to talk about today, or some of the tips that we're going to talk about today, to help inform your recruiting strategy, and hopefully help you avoid the mistakes that I have made. That being said, on a very base level, so I already gave you guys some free game already, right? So if you are, number one piece of advice I can give you is get a filter. The second piece of advice that I can give you is that if you are serious about hiring, and this is something really simple that I've done, create a simple page on your website that lets people know that you're looking for people. I actually have this. So I've got this really simple page. I've actually got, I'm all about content. I love marketing. I love doing blogs and blog posts and all that stuff, because I believe that a solid content marketing strategy is the number one thing that business owners should be doing today if they are interested in becoming the number one thing in whatever their vertical or space is, right? I just believe that from a long-term perspective, a solid content strategy is going to be your best friend, and that is from all levels of your business, from hiring to operations to finance to sustainability, whatever core components of your business is. I believe a solid content marketing strategy needs to be at the core of that. And because I practice what I preach, or at least I try to, my hiring practices or my hiring strategy, my HR strategy is the exact same, right? So what did I do? I started Food Tribe, bought the domain, and I didn't know what it was. I just knew Food Tribe was something that I wanted to do because I understood my purpose. I knew that, if I spent long enough doing this company, that something really good was going to happen as a result of it, right? And then, before you knew it, I started blogging. So quite literally, it went from foodtribeusa.co to foodtribeusa.co/food tribe or food-tribe-blog, right? And then before you know it, people are like, "Hey, I like what you're doing with the Food Tribe blog. You should also you should do blogs for me." And that turned into foodtribeusa.co/restaurants, which was our new page specifically for restaurants that wanted to hire us. Well, you know what? If people are hiring us, if restaurants are hiring us, I need another page to add to my website, which is foodtribeusa.co/join us, right? And this page is a simple page explaining, hey, we are growing as a result of starting out, or as a result of our marketing services that we've done, as a result of creating a blog, as a result of creating content that, we just wanted to talk to other people that were interested in the same things, right? So quite literally, that's a case study of creating a company from content. Hopefully that case study makes sense for you guys, but I want you guys to see how this then turned, like the content marketing aspect, creating a simple web page with content, words and buttons and text, turned into me hiring. Because once you navigate to this page over here for Food Tribe, you quite simply click on Apply Now, and that led to, this button is broken. It went two places, and I'll fix that later, guys. It went to a sign-up form where I was able to quickly capture some information regarding the potential hire, and then also it went to, before that, this is a test that we did. It went to our recruiting page on Angel Co. And these were some of the job titles that people would see when they were looking to hire for Food Tribe. Now, some of the reasons why some of these links are broken is because Food Tribe has actually paused on hiring as we go back, using some of the data that we've collected as a result of our content strategy to become an even stronger company, create better products, create a more robust and a better hiring strategy, and hopefully, grow so that we can repeat the cycle all over again. So hopefully you guys see that, when I create this content, it's not, for nothing, right? I do this for my businesses. I'm a scientist at core. Like, I believe marketers are scientists. And as a scientist, I like to look at the art, right? The creative stuff, and then the science, the numbers, the technical stuff to make newer and better decisions for my company. I create this content for you guys. I'm vulnerable, and I talk to you guys about some of my mistakes, right? But I'm also selfish in that, when I share these stories with you, I'm also getting new insight. You guys then start telling me, about the things that I'm doing right and wrong, or the things that that you're liking about the content that I'm creating, and then I'm able to offer new products and services that can also service you and also service the people that I'm working with at Food Tribe. And this is how it works, guys. Like, we're trading information, we're trading our resources in order to become better, right? Which is why we're learning today about some of the mistakes that I've made hiring, right? Because what I would say is that number one, when I was hiring, we want to simplify, right? And what I mean by simplify is, you guys see right here, like, I was trying to do too much. I was trying to create a type form where I was doing, lead generation. A type form is basically a survey form builder. It's an intake form, basically a job application. And then I was also trying to recruit on Angel.co, right? And I was quite literally splitting my brain between both of these platforms, right? That was the first mistake that I made. And something that I would really encourage you to do is, whatever platform that you're recruiting on, whatever your method, your choice of method is, or your method of choice is, I should say, just really dial in on one in the beginning. If you have someone that's in house that's recruiting for you, maybe for sure go ahead and let them choose a couple of platforms, maybe two or three. But you don't. If one of the first things that you want to realize from a marketing perspective, a content marketing perspective, is that you really want to slowly trickle out your marketing and communications message, which in this case is the message that you're communicating is that you're hiring, right? Then you want to get some data, see how your marketing communication message is getting you closer or further away from your goal, and then scale up from there. And I was like, oh man, I can do it all. I can manage all this information. I can manage all of these different people coming in from these different platforms, and really, these people are all different, right? The people that are coming in off of Typeform are different from the people that are coming in off of Angel Co., which are different from the people that are coming to you from LinkedIn, right? Who are different from the people that are coming to you from your own website, right? And so the thing that I did really well is that I have a case study built in for any new hires that are interested in coming into Food Tribe. This blog is broken, which breaks my heart, because this was actually a blog post, from our very first intern, Haley, right, which I'll have to go and repost. But so anyone that landed on this page would get a first person's take on what it was like to intern or work at Food Tribe, right? And then if you're interested, you can go ahead and apply, and then from there we could go ahead and have a further conversation. Angel.co, what I could say is that this was a great platform for me for some things in terms of awareness and reach. And what I mean by that is, Angel.co has more people going to its website. So if people happen to discover Food Tribe's profile on Angel.co, well, eventually, I would start getting some of that traffic to my own website, which meant that I was having more awareness or more people that were, taking in the content that I was creating. I wasn't all in on the tool because, it did offer paid features that I wasn't quite ready for. But it had its pluses and minuses for me. It was also an opportunity for me to get content creators, and it was also an opportunity for me to network. And I got interview requests off of it, and, all sorts of great stuff. So, just kind of consider where you are, as far as like your recruiting strategy is concerned, and use these platforms, as you would. What I can say is that our discussion today is really about you understanding some core tenets, some core principles that are going to help you regardless of the platform that you're on, right? And so I typically would have a deck. I don't have a deck for you guys today, unfortunately, which I'm a little bit bummed out about. If I have the energy or the time today, I'll create a simple one and drop it in the file section. I've got to start figuring out a way to start getting you guys like reliable files that you can keep. Maybe that's the best place for it. But we'll just go ahead and we'll just free talk today. And if I'm able to get to a place where I'm able to hire a really good video intern, maybe I can have them splice the deck into this webinar today. All right, cool. So let's just go ahead, guys. We've already been here for almost an hour, so I want to go ahead and dive in to the top 6 things that you should be doing before. Crap, you guys shouldn't be seeing some of this stuff. You hire, or if you want to have a kick-ass recruiting strategy for your kick-ass founding team. Number one piece of advice that I want to give you guys today is to know your purpose. And what I mean by that is because you know your brand purpose, you know your mission, your values, you've done that hard work, right, of knowing why you're in business, and because, right, you know where you're going, from there you're able to reverse engineer who you're going to need in order to get there, right? You know what you're good at, you know what the problem is, you know what the problem that you want to solve is. Well, then you need to start figuring out the people that can help you get to that place that you want to be, because they are good at solving the problems that you're not good at fixing. And so the very first tip that I want to give you is to understand your purpose, to know why you are hiring. And what I mean by that is, are you hiring a finance person to do what? What are they doing in order to help you get closer to your 30-year vision for your company? Are they creating a financial strategy? Are they balancing your budget every month? Are they paying your taxes? Figure out what their purpose is, quite literally, and you're going to do that through a job description, which I can give you an example of real quick. But yeah, that's the first thing that you want to do, guys. You want to figure out your purpose, understand why you are hiring for the role. And so what I can say is that a job description is an easy way to do that, which I've got some examples here in Food Tribe. But also, what you want to have is a copy of your company's hierarchy. So this was one of the job descriptions that I had created, or excuse me, that Yelp had created, that I was stealing their copy from. Let me see. This was one I had for a customer success intern, right? So I was realizing that I was having a difficult time onboarding customers and keeping them on. And so I realized that I needed to create a job description for someone that could come in and help make sure that our customers were successful. And so this is something really quick that I put together, that I started circulating on some of the platforms that are out there. So in addition to having something like this, right, to understand the purpose of the role, another thing that I would recommend that you do is to have a hierarchy. And so a hierarchy or company hierarchy is just something that you can use in order to help you get a visualization of who is at your company and who does what, right? And so you can quite literally do this, with blank boxes. And what I mean by that is you don't need it's okay to have just the names of the roles, and a quick, a couple sentences explaining what it is that the person does, and then as you start implementing or effectuating against your recruiting strategy, you can start just crossing those off, right? And so here, right? And so if the hierarchy of your company is like you need someone to handle operations, or you need an operations division of your company. Well, who's involved in operations? It could be your chief operations officer, operations director, an operations manager, and an operations one, right? So an operations specialist maybe. Well, then you have a job description, right, that you can start circulating against that job title, right? That can then help you go effectuate or execute against your purpose. So the first thing I want you to do as part of your recruiting strategy, guys, is to understand your purpose for hiring. Who is the person that you need, the dream person that you need? What is it that they're going to be doing? And how are they going to help your company hit its long-term vision? And then from there, you can just go to some of these platforms and start actually finding that person. The second thing that I would tell you, right, because now that you're ready to go out and find that person, is to create an ideal customer profile. Ideal customer profiles are a simple marketing hack that you can do for any company or any person that you are looking to communicate a marketing and communication. And I'm going to share a quick example with you. This is one that I created for a client that I was trying to win some business against. But so if you're looking to talk to somebody online, it's super important that you know exactly who it is that you're talking to. So a simple practice that you can do, an exercise that you can do, is quite literally create the resume of the person that you want to hire, right? So now that the reason why you want to hire them, well, start dreaming up what that person looks like. And so one of the really easy ways to do that is to create the dream resume of the person that you're looking to hire, and that's by creating an ideal customer profile of the dream candidate. And then your job is to go to some of these platforms and find that dream candidate, which I'll start talking about here in a second. All right. So we've got our top 2 tips. Our third tip is know your love language. And so what I mean by that is we've done the hard work of creating your ideal customer profile, right? So you have like at least this visualization of what the resume is of the person that you're looking to hire. Well, how would you talk to that person? And so, if you're looking to hire an operations person or a content person, well, what are the phrases, what are the keywords that you're going to be using in order to clearly communicate how their job, that person, is going to help your company build its 30-year vision, or help effectuate against your long-term vision, right? So what are the love languages? What are the keywords and the phrases and the sentences that you can start putting together to create paragraphs, right, that you can then use to make your job description even better, or even the job role even better, or even some of the language that you're going to be using as you start having conversations when you start actually recruiting and reaching out to some of these people. Fourth thing that I have for you guys is interviewing. I've had some interviewing. What can I say? It's the jury's still out. You've done all this hard work of figuring out the right person, and starting to reach out to them, online through some of the love language that you're using. The best tips that I can offer for you in terms of interviewing are get references from anyone that you're talking to, and that could be an intern, a consultant, whoever it is that you're working with, or whoever you're working with. Get references, right? That's the best tip. Also, don't be the only person to interview on. So when I talked about filters at the beginning of this conversation, what I mean by that is that if it's Braden in this group has done a great job of doing that. He recruited his mom, who helped run his Facebook group. Have this person interview with your mom. Have your mom ask them 3 or 4 best questions, or questions that you think are going to be important, right? But the idea is that you're having someone else outside of you who doesn't have your cognitive is it dissonance? I'm brain farting on words right now. But who doesn't think the same way that you think, right? And so the idea is that you're using, the idea is like, when you're interviewing, you're not the only person having a conversation. I'm sure you guys have been in situations where you've interviewed with 5 to 10 to, I don't know how many other people. And Amazon does a really great job of this. But get insight from other people within your company or other people outside of yourself on what they think about this candidate and whether or not they're going to be a good fit for the role based off of what they know about you and what it is that you're looking for. Tip 5 that I have for you guys, and I've got 2 more after that, or no, excuse me, just 2 more after that. It's onboarding, and what I can say about it, you guys saw earlier, I was recruiting for a customer success intern, which was the idea was to alleviate some pain points that we were having in terms of onboarding customers. What I would say is that before you try to figure out alleviating pain points or onboarding customers, figure out ways to alleviate onboarding pain points for your teammates. And what I mean by that is, really understanding what they're getting out of the role, whether it's a reference, whether it's payment, whether it's onboarding to a better or newer job. But then from there, really explain how that transaction is going to take place. And what I mean by that is if you are promising them something, well, what is it the thing that they are going to have to do successfully in order to do it, right? And a really good structured onboarding process is a great way to do that. It really helps communicate, the culture, the values, all the hard work that you've done, establishing the company, teammates, policies, workflows, training, all of that really good stuff, right? In order to give your candidates or your new hires the best possible chance for success, right? And that's really what you want, right? The idea is that you want this relationship or this transaction, this exchange of value to be beneficial on both sides of the equation, right? Tip 6, guys, is what I can say is that within the first 90 days, it's you really want to kind of coming back to the purpose of the company. It's you really want to pass the culture forward, right? And you especially want to ingrain that within the first 90 days. What I can say is that usually within the first 90 days is when I was able to see, or that's when I was asking myself questions about whether or not there was a disconnect between myself and a new hire. Typically because I was a big chicken, I never said anything, and I just kind of kept the person on board, even though I probably should have dug in a little bit deeper and really figured out, okay, well, if I'm feeling this way about this candidate within the first 90 days, what went wrong during the onboarding process, when I was communicating that message, what it is that I was looking for, and what the company was, and figure out how to fix it quickly, right? Because you want to fix things quickly within the first 90 days. I've told you guys before, I live within 90-day increments, and so if you can fix a future problem within the first 90 days, I think that is going to give you a higher likelihood of long-term success. That's my belief, at least. I don't have the data to back that up, but that is a belief of mine. So within the first 90 days, do whatever it takes to really dig into the culture. Does that mean weekly lunches? Does that mean a weekly one-on-one? Does that mean a monthly training? Does that mean fun experiences? Does that mean you get a bonus? Whatever it is, really communicate and make your new hire feel your company's culture within the first 90 days. Number 6 dang, that's it. We're at our last one, right? And so now that we're kind of there, guys. I think the only thing that I would tell you is to now that you have hired and identified this person on your favorite platform, right? And you're working for them, ask them for referrals, right? Typically you want to keep, or not typically, but keeping it in the family is a good way to find newer and different people than you could have ever imagined, right? And what I mean by that is ask for cousins. You don't just want people that are close, like brothers and sisters, and people that they know, from a first-degree connection. It's like let's widen the network as much as possible. So really figure out a good way to encourage your candidates to recruit for you and to refer people that might even have the tricklings of being a potential kick-ass hire into your company, and make that process real easy. Boom. Some real practical tips that I've learned based off my experience, guys. I got 7 for you. Right, so let's rehash them before I let you go. Number 1 is purpose. Understand why you're hiring. Always going to be important, regardless of whatever it is that you're doing. That's my belief. Number 2, create your ideal hiring profile. Talk to us about what your customer, or your customer, the person that you're looking to partner with, what they look like online. Number 3, know your love language, or the key phrases, the keywords that you're going to be able to use to convey your marketing communications message and have better conversations with the people that you're talking to and reaching out to onto these platforms. Number 4, when you're interviewing, don't interview by yourself. Interview with other people, right? So regardless of where you find these candidates, make sure that there are other people outside of yourself having conversations with them. Number 5, have a kick-ass onboarding process. Make the process real easy to work with you, right? Number 6, pass the culture forward within the first 90 days. I want y'all in there making sure that people feel the love, making sure that people know what it is that you and your brand are all about. And number 7, ask for recommendations. Boom, boom. That's all that I got. Before I let you go, quickly, we have 2 events coming up. We are having a Startup Sharks and California Cannabis Tours are hosting a cannabis in the high and low desert mixer. And so what that means is that we're bringing together people in the cannabis in the greater high desert area. That means like Palm Springs, Joshua Tree, 29 Palms, La Quinta. People, those professionals in for a opportunity to discuss potential ways to collaborate and do business. If you happen to be in the area during the month of March, I'll have a date for you guys that I will share. I would love to see you there. On March 28th, Tatiana, as part of her event series, is hosting Startup Sharks for the 3 Ps of Purpose-Driven Entrepreneurship Workshop. I will drop a link in there for you guys so you can get tickets and join us to hang out. Guys, it's Friday. Flex, let us know how we can celebrate you. I hope this lesson was helpful. I hope you take. Let me know if these tips were helpful. Drop a comment. Let me know how I can do better, because that's the goal, right? It's the weekend, so I want you to really understand that the weekend is your opportunity to protect your time and to go build up your business, right? Focus on the activities that are going to push your business forward. Monday through Friday are for customers and for employees. Saturday through Sunday are for us, and to figure out, to figure out what we need in order to make our business stronger. That's all that I've got for you guys. I want you to have a great rest of your week. Thank you for joining me. Peace and love.